Welcome to the Projector Podcast. I'm Jeremy Glowacki, Editor-in-Chief of ProjectorCentral. On this week's episode, Nikki Kahl joins us from Los Angeles, where she serves as a digital publishing designer and projector reviewer for ProjectorCentral. Today, we will discuss her recent ProjectorCentral review of the Anker Nebula X1 triple laser 4K DLP projector, which Nikki says offers the best of both worlds with home theater performance and portability. She writes that combined with optional Bluetooth satellite speakers, the X1 is a portable home theater, not just a portable projector, making it a standout against its competition. It offers an immersive 4K with Dolby Vision experience, low input lag, Google TV, and auto features that make setup a breeze. The X1 is a premium projector for those who want a home theater experience in a portable package. But that, of course, is just scratching the surface of Nikki's review of the X1. And I'm going to have her take it from here, tell us of her firsthand experience testing the X1 and seeing what she liked and maybe didn't like as much about it. Nikki Kahl, it's great to have you back on the Projector Podcast. It's been a minute since we chatted here. How's the summer been going?
It's been good. I've been off school, so I had a real summer. I'm going to go back to school in like 2 weeks, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, got all my supplies and everything, so that's exciting. And I've just been writing my novel.
Nice. It's good to have a break and actually enjoy a summer. It's not often you can do that. So, yeah, my daughter was just home for the summer from college, and she's an undergrad at Indiana University starting her sophomore year. So we just got her moved back in this week, and my other daughter is a senior in high school. So still dealing with the summer schedules of school, you know, the kids.
Always a challenge with kids.
Yeah, it's fun. It's good to have them around, but then they get bored and, you know, it's just good to be back into a routine again this time of year. Well, so wanted to dive right into talking about the Anker Nebula X1. Mm-hmm. This is a projector that I actually got to see firsthand at CES. It's great when that happens, and I can kind of relate to the review that you're writing about. I saw it in a hotel suite. It was a little less than typical of a CES meeting. I typically would be going to a booth on the trade show floor, but this was just a hotel room and a little more casual.
I've done the hotel room thing. A couple of people, I think maybe like Optima or BenQ did that when I went a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's not normal, but it happens.
It happens. Yeah. Jimmy actually did the same thing, but in a bigger suite kind of thing. There was a separate, I'm not allowed to talk about it yet. It's still embargoed. It's coming out at an upcoming show in Berlin, but there was one that they were working on with Anker Nebula, Anker, that was like, okay, well, we're going to show you one that's kind of like, it's very embargoed. You know, it's not the shipping, production model yet or anything. And they took us into the other room, which is actually the bedroom of the suite. And so that was even more interesting because like my feet were already starting to feel it. And I just sat on the bed while they showed me this thing. I was like, whenever I talk about it with Jerry, my boss, our owner, I'm like, remember that bed demo that we had? That was interesting. Well, we're reviewing one of their products. So anyway, so you were basically, you gave us a really good feeling for all of that was possible with this. There was the unique aspect that there were satellite speakers available as an accessory on this to make it that home theater. I want to get into that, but just to get me started, what was your initial unboxing experience with this particular setup?
Yeah, so I got the projector first, and that was what I thought I was getting, like nothing else. And I was like, wow, this is a really substantial unit. It's pretty heavy, has a nice carrying handle. But then another box came and then another one. I was like, what's happening? What did I sign up for? So the first one that came was the satellite speakers, followed by the carrying case. And so it was kind of like a thrice over unboxing experience for me.
Yeah.
But I was impressed with all the quality of just how it looked. They're heavy, the speakers aren't that heavy, but they're substantial. They're not like flimsy speakers.
Yeah, so that's great. Build quality is always a good first indication, I guess, of hopefully what the performance is going to be. And I did
Hopefully.
experience some of the Anker products. They're an interesting company. They just did a press preview for the IFA shows. I was trying to think of it's in Berlin coming up in September, right before CEDIA Expo. So I'm not going to be able to go there, but they're a company that a lot of people know Anker as the charging blocks for phones and that type of thing. They're really into that. And then they also have security cameras with, a lot of AI as well as robot vacuum. So it's a diverse, it's a diverse company, but they do projectors pretty well. And I've got several that my friend who does PR for them, Adam Weissman, sent me right as I got this job, just to kind of get familiar with the lifestyle category. Why not send him a bunch of stuff that he doesn't have to send back and maybe make him a fan of this brand, which, good move on their part.
Now that you mention it, I have seen like cables from Anker when I'm like on Amazon looking for things. I'm like, hey, I know them.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize robot vacuums and all that.
I didn't either. A lot
That's
a lot of smart home stuff, which looks like they've done a really good job with. But they really made their name with their development of really good battery tech and charging stuff. So their power aspects to these projectors hopefully are pretty good as far as the wireless aspect, the rechargeable batteries.
Yeah.
But so what? As you got this sort of setup and try to figure out what all these pieces were, how did you sort of progress the first, steps in getting it set up and reviewing it and everything?
Yeah. So I always start by setting up my document so it's ready to go. And then I go through I write my intro and then the features. And then I put little highlighted notes of what I need to check. That way I don't miss anything when it comes to the features. So I did that, and by that time the speakers had come, so I set them up with the projector, but I had played with it a little bit before, so I could see the difference in the sound when it's just the projector speakers versus adding the whole sound system.
Yeah, so it's interesting that it could just work standalone, but if you want to have more of a surround sound experience, you get these Bluetooth satellite speakers, and then the unit, the projector itself, kind of adds the low end bass subwoofer kind of level speaker qualities that the satellites can't necessarily bring. So it changes the dynamics of it. So initially, you heard it out of the projector itself, and it sounded pretty good by itself.
Oh yeah, you could not use the speakers if you're not into that kind of thing, but adding it, you get way more volume and more robust sound, but it can absolutely be used on its own. And with the sticker price being what it is, some people really might want to opt for that.
Yeah, because that base package just by the projector itself is $2,999, so $3,000, and then you add the wireless speakers, and it and then as part of that accessory kit, do the wireless microphones come with those speakers, or is that a separate deal too? Or
so it's just the bundle that comes with all of the things, which are the speakers, the carrying case, and then the microphones. And that's if you want to do karaoke. So I was like, why microphones at first? But then I realized what it was for. But you can get just the speakers if you don't want the rest of it. And I don't remember how much that is. But
so we added up to, it's another $1,000 for the accessory package, the bundle. It looks like $39.98. Yeah.
And I think maybe you will save around $500, and that's not, don't quote me on it, but if you just get the speakers and the projector.
Yeah, the satellites, again, we're getting mired in numbers here, but $699 for just the satellites. I'm seeing that now, and $199 for just the carrying case. But that's a cool idea. The idea of the karaoke, I think that's a fun aspect, and I think we're maybe embargoed about telling something about another company that might be doing something similar to that in their lifestyle category, and it seems to be a little trend that's happening. I don't remember it happening anywhere before. Maybe I missed something being new to the category. But
well, if you missed something, so did I, because it was a surprise to me. But I have seen other companies playing around with that idea.
Yeah, so that's pretty fun. It gives, it's a category we want to support, being Projector Central. So anything you can do to spice it up and make it something that people say this is something we need to have as our party, centerpiece.
It's
Technology.
Absolutely like a party unit. And then if you got the satellite speakers with that, the karaoke is just probably going to be really excellent. I didn't get the microphone, so I didn't have the pleasure of singing my heart out.
Oh, okay.
But, just judging on the quality of the speakers, I think that it would be quite good. And there's no issue with like Bluetooth connectivity when it comes to, like the speakers and everything. So I'm guessing it would work really well.
Yeah. And as far as performance on the video, it's a triple laser light engine, TI's 0.47 inch DMD DLP chipset. So very familiar, chipset from a lot of reviews we've done for 4K resolution. Your light source rated to last up to 30,000 hours. And you said its claim is 3,500 ANSI lumens, but maybe not hitting that spec quite as much as you'd hope.
So I had originally measured with, I guess, not the max iris on. I didn't see that setting in there. And then Adam was kind enough to point me to where that was. And once I remeasured, it actually hit, like 3187 in its brightest SDR mode. So it's just like 9% less, which is really good. But the brightest usable SDR mode is 2,588 lumens. And that's because, brightest modes are generally very green, and I can never get them to look good, even with calibration.
Yeah, that's pretty typical of the brightest modes.
I wish it wasn't.
No, I know. One of these days we're going to get past that. I think you've got the wiggle room allowance there with that percentage, and they tend to let that be their goal as opposed to just making the best, the brightest, the best as well. But still a good brightness level for you. You said mostly the performance was acceptable, except for maybe some dark scenes in certain movies or shows
it really depended on that. So because like each piece of content has, like a different producer, editors and all that, they might favor certain settings within the edit that don't translate very well to different projectors. So there were some instances where the black levels and shadow was really good. And then I guess, like there was some shadow that wasn't so good. I think maybe it was, I can't remember exactly which one I saw that in, that it was like not so great.
Yeah, we'll get into some of what your review content is. I don't want to scan down too far into, got my notes here and I'm going to lose my place, and we'll get into some of the specific content you looked at because I always like to get into the mind of our reviewers and their styles of what they like to watch. I know you're a gaming person a lot of times, but you also pick some interesting older content, which I liked, which is great because people watch. It's not just the best movies with the best production value. You watch things from all different eras, and you want to see how it all holds up. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a mood watcher and mood reader, so it's like, what do I feel like?
Well, so setup, you have a fixed focal length and a 6-blade dynamic iris. What was the setup? You had some auto keystone correction and autofocus and things. What are you using in terms of auto settings or getting things fine-tuned?
So I try to do a variety of different like screen sizes. I have a blank wall, which is great because many people will choose to do that. And then I also have a 60-inch, and then I have a 100-inch monstrosity. But I set up using the auto ones at first. That would be the auto focus, auto keystone, and then there's like AI spatial adaptation and like all that. So I had like everything on at first for like whether it was like my 60-inch and then the wall, which is about 80 inches. And then once I was going to measure brightness and the input lag, I turned off all the auto features because it can affect lag time. But in general, I would choose to have it on for sure.
Before we move on from the auto stuff, let's talk a little bit about the AI spatial adaptation and what it's doing.
Yeah. So, when you move a projector from like one room to the next, you usually have to like do all the auto stuff, just as it is. But if you needed it to save something, like these are my settings for this room and where I put the projector in here, let's say a bedroom versus one for a living room, you can have those saved and you can select it and it'll just like fix everything to where you'd like it. So there's just a little less setup involved, even though like it's virtually setup free. Just point and shoot.
Okay, great. Yeah, I did experience that a bit with some of the other Anker products that I got a chance to play with and still have, and it is nice. But then sometimes you just want to be able to do manual adjustments. So then you get into that, and you've got a whole list of things you need to review and test out. So you get into that as well.
Yeah.
And you're as far as the basic controls of, you've got Google TV as far as a content provider within the unit. So you did some of that streaming content, and you felt like the interface pretty familiar with what you've seen. That's pretty standard these days.
Yeah, TV, right? I don't remember the last projector I reviewed that didn't have Google TV. So now I'm very versed in it, but it's so easy to work with. I think it's one of the better operating systems out there. Even though I'm not an Android user, I am full Apple, and
good for you.
Yeah, thank you. It is a choice. But yeah, like I do like the Google TV and Google Assistant, although sometimes it doesn't help me out at all. Like most AI always has like a little bit of I didn't say it that way,
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, doing the voice part of it.
The voice activated stuff where you search for something, like in content. Basically, that's what the Google Assistant is for. Okay. So I tried it a few times and I'm like, I'll just type it
in. Yeah, but that is nice. I mean, I want to use voice sometimes and I don't have the right remote and, connected tissues that need to work together to make that happen. And because I typically don't, when I'm watching on a non-projector situation, I don't have the original remote that allows that. And so you're doing a test, you've got the actual remote. At least you can immediately try that out and see how it works.
There's a button for it, which is really nice.
Definitely. And then you connect to other sources then as well. You have, are you HD Blu-ray or just regular Blu-ray?
HD, yeah. Okay, I have a Sony player that's a 4K player and it has Dolby Vision, and then I have my PlayStation, which sometimes does 4K and sometimes doesn't. So,
okay,
yeah. But for 4K, I always use the player. Yeah,
and so I'm curious. I haven't asked Sammy this because he does a lot of reviews with the 4K Blu-ray, and I'm just wondering, do you have just a certain collection of discs that you keep on hand for these things?
I do. I have a small 4K library. Basically, if I really like a film, I'll get it on 4K. But I have like Jurassic Park and Uncharted, which I really like that movie, a fan of the games and everything. I have Serenity, which I don't always use, but I felt like watching it, so I put it on. Let's see. There's like a BBC version of things that if I want to watch, like the Animal Kingdom one. I think it's Animal Planet. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Animal Planet. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of different things, but I tend to try to keep it like very similar between the reviews, so I can kind of like see how these different projectors work, like when pitted against each other. And then, the stuff where I'm like, oh, I got a feeling that I want to watch this, I'm going to put it on,
Yeah. So, you're saying that you stream some video of, Magnus Carlsen
Yes.
analyzing a game from Queen's Gambit. I always appreciate these random choices that you for whatever side projects you have going on or things that you're into. So that was very unique. But then you had some experience with other things like movies that the Princess
Bride.
Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Yes, my brain just locked up. Like that was one of my favorites. It still is, but like that I didn't expect that coming in. And so you watch that on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a streaming service, and the various different streaming services have different performance, performance capabilities, I guess, or qualities. So you went into Amazon Prime for something called Black Sails, which I had never heard of.
You haven't? It's so good.
No,
it's,
I don't know anything
like
about
a prequel
one.
to Treasure Island, but it's
cool.
kind of like historically accurate in a lot of ways.
Okay.
Big pirate fan. Like fun. So
okay. Yeah. I need to check that out then.
Yeah.
And that was where you had some highlight clipping a little bit and some, switch to ISF night mode, which helped to alleviate it a little bit. But so you challenged the projector with some of the content there.
Yeah, I like to try to see and push it with things that I know are going to be like a challenge for it. And even some projectors have challenges with like Crash Bandicoot, which is a video game, or Spyro, where they'll do highlight clipping, or like they're just terrible yellows or something like that. And you just have to try a bunch of different types of content to really see what, it can do or can't.
Right. Yeah, it looks like you really tended to work with the ISF settings to try to, and those are proven commodities, like settings that are designed to perform the right way.
Yeah,
but you've got the day and the night modes on those, and
and the Nebula Master mode was really nice, but it's kind of blue. So if you're not into that, it's just kind of like blue makes it look brighter, and I feel like a lot of companies will capitalize on that because it makes the whites look like just pure white.
Okay. And you had some other familiar titles in there in the mix for the Blu-ray viewing, the Jurassic World Dominion movie. And then there was Gladiator 2 in the mix as well.
That was fun.
I haven't seen that yet, obviously. Oddly enough, I love the original.
Mixed reviews, but it's like a continuation of it. I thought originally that it was going to be like a remake, and I'm like, why do that? It's perfect.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that movie, the original. The original is one that'll mess with you too because of the way they did the frame. I forget what it is. The speed and causing it to look like it was kind of choppy, like on purpose with the action sequences. And then you see the special effects that if you're looking at it on the wrong video format or setting can look very CGI'd, like the tiger, attack and that type of thing in the arena. I saw something recently and I was just like, okay, I'm just flipping past this. I'm not going to change my settings, but this just does not look great right now. And I know what it's supposed to look like. So you can push things and test things like that. But the Big Hero 6, I felt like that was the content piece that you really loved the best as far as just the way it looked.
Yeah, the colors were beautiful. I mean, I loved the colors in the Gladiator. Just the ocean looked amazing. All of the reds and like teals and blues. It was just very vibrant with the Dolby Vision. And I was really blown away by that. But with Big Hero 6, it's like all vibrant, because it's an animated film. But the opening scene where you're flying in through the city, it just was incredible. And I've never seen it look that good. So that was a really nice surprise there.
And let's talk gaming. You mentioned it a little bit just a minute ago, but what did you feel about the performance there? And I know we always talk like, hey, as long as it's not serious competitive streaming gamer scenarios, we get good with the lag times, kind of what you saw here as well.
So the input lag claim was 19 milliseconds and it measured 18.3 milliseconds. And I tried it out because I was like, okay, this is decent enough. Let's see about an online multiplayer. So I played Sea of Thieves with my nephew, and it was pure chaos, but the projector handled it very well. It's just anything can happen in that game. Like I got struck by lightning 3 times, and
yeah, that's right. You mentioned
that. We were laughing because we're like, how does this keep happening? It's usually like once, and then you're on fire, and you have to like dunk yourself in the ocean or something. But I kept saying to him, I'm like, this projector looks so good. I must have said it like 50 times.
Good.
Yeah, it was a long day.
So no lag. That's, you got shot at when you weren't supposed to because you were slower than him or anything like that?
No, I mean, I got shot at and killed because I was sucking at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I hadn't played it in a long time. And so I'm like getting my sea legs again, I guess you could say. But unless you're like a super competitive, like, gets mad at the game kind of person, for like Call of Duty or whatever, you would like this projector. It's just like the people who are like super competitive will want one that's like closer to like the 4 millisecond because they're out there, and having that option for like a true gamer is really nice. But for the majority of people, this is perfect.
Yeah. I think that it's really hard to hit that super competitive scenario with a projector. You really, stick to your gaming monitors and close-up experience if that's what you're really into.
I mean, with those, you got like 240 hertz, refresh rate, and that's what people mostly want. I think like 144 is kind of common for gamers, like on PCs. But yeah, the 240 refresh is what they want.
Now, did you experience some 3D content? It looked like...
No, I don't actually have any 3D content or 3D glasses.
It's funny. It's 3D compatible, which I should just mention up front because we have these folks who are just such trolls when it comes to 3D on our site that I just can't take them seriously. Like, no 3D, not for me, was like, it's just become such a common thread when there's a projector review that doesn't have 3D. And I finally responded to one, and I know it's bad for him. I should be more respectful of my readers. But I said, what's your favorite 3D movie? Mine was House of... oh, now I can't remember it. House of Wax. And of course, that's like from like the 1930s or something like that. So the one where they have the yo-yos like that swing out in front of you, like just making every kind of sort of stunt that you can do for 3D. I'm not a fan of 3D. Sorry, folks.
It kind of makes me feel a little nauseous, but
I get headaches.
Yeah. I mean,
I just don't understand like what this big fan base that it's like probably 3 people, but why are they so, what are they watching so much of in 3D,
I have no idea. What? Now I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. So, we mentioned that it does do this. I'm sorry we didn't have any content reviewed, but so then one more little detail that I just want to make sure we hit, because like I said in my last review or podcast with Brian Nadal, I don't like to end on a negative. So let's get this one out of the way. Just as far as the pros and cons list that you listed for us. The only other thing you mentioned that was a little bit of a challenge besides some of the dark scenes was the auto screen deactivation between Blu-ray disc switches. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
So that ended up being my Blu-ray player. When I switched the setting on there, it stopped doing that, because if you have it like on auto, it might read it as like a different kind of disc, and it's like, oh wait, hold on. So it kind of glitched it out. But once I fixed it to just 4K, everything was fine. So yeah, so if you have something that's kind of weird and glitchy, it might be a setting within your player, but it did just fix itself anyway when it was glitching out. So, it was only like a moment where I was like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah. Well, the thing that you just really were hyped about in the review was the audio, aspects of this. And I think that probably means a lot to Anker to hear that, because they did try to really make this a theater kind of experience with the satellites and everything. So we started off talking about it, but you you pulled it back around in the review, talking about what a great experience that was and how great it sounded.
Yeah, I mean, like 200 watts total for the speaker system. There's the two, like 80 watts each, and then the 40 watt, not subwoofer, but handles the lower frequencies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a really good experience with that, and made me want it for myself.
Nice.
But I always like Anker projectors. I haven't had one yet. Well, I had one like way back when. That was like a little capsule, like it was like a soda can one.
I have one of those. Yes.
Yeah, it's cute, but I used it for like artwork, and it wasn't really like a serious projector, whereas like this is a serious projector. So they have like a whole range of options for people depending on what they're into, what their needs are, and I think they do a really good job of delivering quality.
Yeah, they really do. They have a lot of options for different applications and different price points. So very good brand with versatility there. And in this one, as it comes down to it, you give it an Editor's Choice Award, which is not a small thing. We haven't had one of those from some of our lifestyle projectors in a while. There's been some varied experiences that maybe not as great. And this one, they lived up to I think to the price point, not, it's hard to know really what the sweet spot is on, what people would want to pay. $3,000 does sound a bit much for a lifestyle projector, but you're getting quality.
Pay for a home theater projector for sure. That's a quality home theater projector at $3,000. But as far as like portable, it's generally less than that. I have one that I'm working on now that is it's $2,000, and it's similar but doesn't have like the speaker system. But yeah, that extra aspect, I think that you can take it anywhere versus like having a dedicated room. I think that is probably the best selling point for it, of justifying the price point.
Yeah. And so overall, positive review, very positive review. We can leave some of the other details to those who want to read them about, fan noise and different specifics on brightness, uniformity, and all of that. But it really captured, I think, what were the positive aspects of this. So anything that I haven't brought up that kind of comes to mind as far as your experience with the projector before we wrap up?
No, I mean, we talked about the color space. Oh, there was one thing that you can do. You can actually change the color space to like whether you want BT 2020, you want Rec 709, or Adobe RBG. Yeah, sorry. RPG is gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can change it. And for that Adobe one, that would be really good for people who are doing a lot of stuff with color in terms of like creative work, because you would get closer to like accurate specifically for like Adobe and graphic design and all those things. So I thought that was really cool. There's actually like a ton of options, but those are the top ones that I remember.
Yeah, that's interesting because Brian just reviewed, and we just talked about the Fujifilm projector, and they have settings that match up to their actual film stock colors.
Oh, cool.
And it's like a photographic kind of experience, a little more like just interpretive. Why you would what content you'd want to watch under what setting there, I don't quite understand, but it's a way to connect with their core technology or core like brand of films and stuff like that. So this is like that, but Adobe obviously is more branded or more broadly used in the creative world. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess that can kind of wrap up our review there. And you're working on something else for us now. You want to just give us a little preview and what you've got in hand? And
it's the Dangbai. Those names are tough.
Yeah, I heard it in person at CES and then summarily forgot the pronunciation I was told. So I think it's Dangbai.
Dangbai. Wow, really? Okay.
I might be wrong.
I guess I could see that.
Don't hold me to it.
I'm looking at the manual right now. No, I can see that. So it's the MP1 Max, and it looks really similar to one that I think Sammy reviewed. It's like quite heavy, quite big, and it has a gimbal, so it goes around and around, and then the tilt, which is also really nice. You can tilt it like right up to the ceiling and watch on the roof, which I actually like that sometimes. So I'm like, I just want to lay down and enjoy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really good. Actually, I like it a lot. And I'm going to be watching some content on it today in gaming. So far, I've just been testing like the color and, the input lag and everything. And so far, so good. But I'm floored about the way that it's pronounced. If it's saying it wrong.
Well, do a AI search and confirm to see if that comes up as anything reasonably close to the way I said it. I may be completely remembering wrong there. So we've got some challenges with pronunciation now that we have to speak these things as opposed to just writing about them and editing them. So we have to do a little bit more homework on that next time before we talk. But looking forward to that, and thank you for your time today. It's been great catching up. Sorry it's taken several weeks, but we finally got another one we really wanted to talk about. So,
all good.
All right. Well, based in Los Angeles, California, Nikki Kahl is our digital publishing designer and reviewer for us at ProjectorCentral, and you can read her most recent review of the Anker Nebula X1 on the site, as well as the upcoming, Dying By, or however you pronounce it, Projector is going to be coming out soon. Yeah. And then the one we talked about last time, which is the Yaever T2 Plus Keith Haring special edition, which was a fun one to talk about, and much, much more. It's like lots of content on the site from Nikki. So look for that and all the details there on this projector that we didn't cover today. And that wraps up today's show, which was produced by ProjectorCentral. Please subscribe to the Projector Podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Also, check out all the latest Projector product news and reviews at the website, where you can also subscribe to receive email notifications about our articles on the day that they are posted. For Nikki Kahl and ProjectorCentral, I'm Jeremy Glowacki. Thanks for listening.